So one of the things that I was most worried about when I retired was that I was going to get bored. When I worked, I switched jobs about every 2 years for the 30 or so years that I was working. And I really enjoyed that constant cycle, that change. It really kept me going and kept me motivated. And when I retired, I thought, it's just going to be year after year after year. So one of the decisions that I took was that I was going to live seasonally. And a big part of that was growing my own food. And so that meant I was eating seasonally and always looking forward to the delights of the next season. And so I really enjoyed that. But I've also taken it much further than that, and I kind of try and take most aspects of my life and live them seasonally. So, for example, I read different types of books in each season. So right now I'm reading fantasy, and then I'll switch probably to thrillers for the next season, and then I'll go to sci-fi, and then I'll probably go to historical fiction. So I'm kind of always changing, and that means that I'm always really looking forward to that change, that new set of books that I'm really keen to read. I have a different research topic for each season. I make a lot of videos for 3 seasons of the year, but in sort of late autumn and early winter, I switch from making videos, I still make a few, but I switch mainly to writing and working on my database, my gardening database. So this late autumn and winter, I'm really looking forward to writing all the individual growing guides for my book, and I'm chomping at the bit to get on with it, but I'm holding off because I'm really looking forward to doing it in late autumn and winter. And I'm also, if I get time towards the end of late winter, I'm going to do a new update to my gardening application, and I've been wanting to do that for ages, but again I've held off because I'm really looking forward to doing it. Exercise wise, again, I kind of really like to mix it up. So right now I'm doing a lot of cycling and hiking, but in winter I do a lot of swimming, and I just change things around, and then in spring I'm back to cycling again, in summer cycling and hiking. So I just again mix that. And in terms of my sort of strength exercise and aerobic exercise in general, I changed that as well. So right now I'm just about to start building up the strength in my tendons and things like that, in order to prepare for heavy weights in winter. And then in spring I'm back to endurance activities and just do strength maintenance, and do that same in summer. And then in autumn again, I start preparing for strength workouts, and then in winter I do the strength workouts. So again, I really like that. I don't want to be in the gym a lot when the weather's good, but when the weather's not so good in winter, I really want to be in the gym for an hour a day or so. And so again, I really look forward to that. And on those rainy days, there's really nothing much more that I enjoy than sitting by the pool with my laptop and working on my book. I've really learned to love eating seasonally as well, and the kind of, we don't really feel like it's deprivation. And to give you an example, right now we're sort of starting to run down our bean harvests. In a few weeks' time we won't have any beans. I'm absolutely fed up with beans. I don't want to see another bean. But by May, when we have our first bean harvest again, I'm really looking forward to them again. And that's just the nature of eating seasonally. You just have this constant cycling through of different types of veg, and you have a glut of it, you eat a lot of it, you really enjoy it for a while, and then you start to think, I just can't really face another cucumber. And that's great, because there's no more cucumbers and you won't have any more until May. So it's that sort of constant anticipation of the delights of the next season. So in addition to changing the homegrown food that I eat, I also change the food that I buy. So in winter, one of the things I really like to buy a lot of are tropical fruits. So I really like the cherries and the grapes and the apricots and all of those sorts of things, and the nectarines and things. And I don't eat any of those in summer because there's so much homegrown stuff to eat. But when it comes to winter, I really like to indulge in all of those kind of tropical fruits. and have a big fruit salad as well as my homegrown veggie salad. And then finally, I change where I garden. So in spring and summer, most of my focus is gardening at home, and it's just so much easier to garden here in the kitchen garden because I can automatically water. There's hardly any weeds, there's hardly any pests. It is just such a relaxing place to garden. And I still have stuff planted on the allotment, but everything that's planted on the allotment generally looks after itself and mostly just needs half an hour a day in the evening. But then come for the rest of the seasons, I really love the allotment. It's a fantastic place to garden because it's got so much undercover space. So I can shelter in the polytunnel and chill out in between tasks. I can even go there on a rainy day if I want to, just to get a bit of exercise. And yeah, I just really love it. I've been really pleased with the way that it's worked. Although my years are actually very similar from year to year, and pretty much the main thing that changes is new grandchildren keep getting born, which is fantastic. But the pattern of the years is very similar. The activities that I do from year to year are very similar. But my actual within a year is very different. So season to season, as I've just explained, it is very different. Even month to month, there are substantial, noticeable differences in the type of activities that I'm doing, the type of intellectual activities, physical activities, the kinds of topics that I'm thinking about. One of the things I really love, for example, about autumn is I do all my planning for next year's gardening in autumn. I just really look forward to the rainy days so I can get some planning done. And I think it's just, in addition to living seasonally, this idea of really looking forward to the bad weather is something that I've really been pleased that I figured out. Because prior to that, when I was working, I was very unhappy if the weather was bad. But now I absolutely, there's nothing more that I look forward to than a rainy day or a few rainy days, because I save up so many activities that I really want to do, and I don't let myself do them until a rainy day comes along, and then I kind of really embrace them. And I also kind of splurge on food and things like that as well. So I really look forward to bad weather. But it can be a little bit bleak in the middle of winter. And one of the things I do to improve my mood is I really like to surround myself with things that are growing and a lot of light. So in my conservatory, which is the space that I spend most of my time in when I'm inside, I make sure that I've got loads of seedlings and plants growing all the way through winter, and that I've got the grow lights on. And the grow lights are essential to get those plants growing healthily, but they also radically improve my mood because they just have the same spectrum as sunlight. And so it's like sitting in a really sunny conservatory on a really gloomy day outside. And I also like every morning to go out to my morning cafe and watch the sunrise as I walk there along the beach, and then chill out in the cafe for a couple of hours doing intellectual work before I start my day. So this is the first video in my Seaside Live series, and if you enjoy it, then let me know in the comments, and if you don't, then let me know in the comments. My name's Steve. I'll see you soon.